We good? Cool. We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order tonight. Councilman Box, if you would be so kind.
Almighty Creator, Father God, we thank you so much for another day, Lord, that we can come to you, worship you, and praise you. Lord, we thank you for the ability to gather together as citizens and neighbors to look to you for guidance on operating this city that we all live in. Thank you for wisdom. Thank you for courage. Thank you for knowledge and compassion. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Roll call. Councilman London.
Present.
Councilwoman Cuellar.
Here.
Councilman Box. Councilman Sims.
Here.
And myself here as well. At this time, and piece of housekeeping real quick. Some of our, and this goes for the dais as well as the audience, some of our notes are being taken virtually tonight. So we do have this wonderful young lady up here that's going to be taking names and addresses. But when you come up to speak, I would ask that you speak to the podium, at the podium right there, because there's a hot mic there. That way the city clerk can ensure that she hears any comments that need to be notated for the record. So guys, let's make sure we speak into our microphones so that Miss Lee can take those notes as well. All right, that being said, looking for the approval of the minutes for the regular city council meeting of June 22nd.
Motion to approve the minutes of June 22nd, 2022.
We have a motion and we had a second by Aaron, Councilman Sims. All in favor? Aye. Councilman London? Yes. Councilman London, I would abstain from that since I was absent from that meeting. All right. At this time, I would be looking for the approval of the current bills.
Make a motion to approve the current bills in the amount of $394,000.82.
We have a motion,
Second.
seconded by Councilman Sims. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. All right. Any professional or consultants that are with us tonight that would like to deliver a report? Any professionals or consultants? Thank you very much. Mayor, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Council President. I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. Hopefully we will have a very productive council meeting. I'm going to start off my report with talking about the cornhole tournament that took place on June 25th, 2022. I want to thank Police Chief Wiggins for helping to facilitate putting that event on. On Thursday, we had an opportunity to deliver a check to Three Hots and a Cot in the amount of $13,029.00, and they were very happy to be able to receive that check. We are number two. We closed on the Zamora Temple on Thursday, June the 30th. Brad Dawes is the individual that would kind of be the, I guess you could say, the liaison or the lead person on it. He made sure that the facility and everything, inventory stuff was there. Before the day was out on Thursday, he had all the utilities turned on, security and everything taken care of. So Brad is doing a fantastic job on helping us to be able to take care of that piece of property. Also, the Irondale Mounties youth football team started practice today at the middle school. They're going to be 4 teams, 6, 8-year-olds, 10-year-olds, and 12-year-olds. So we're really looking for having a successful football team this year. Registration is now open for fall ball from July the 1st through August the 19th. The fee is $75. If you would like to register to participate in fall ball, you can go to cityofirondaleal.gov, and there should be a tab for you to be able to do that. On July the 16th, Church of the Highlands is having their serve day, but their serve day is going to be to provide and to assist with doing repairs and cleanup at Ruffner Park. If you would like to participate in this event, you could go to the Church of the Highlands website. They also have an app for Serve Day. You can identify the project that's taking place at Ruffner Mountain if you would like to participate. We need about 75 people to be able to help out. The park cleanup starts at 7 a.m. From 10 to 11:30, there's going to be a baseball and softball skills camp. And if you hang around for the duration of the event, there's going to be a cookout at 11:30. Looking forward to seeing a lot of people to be able to participate and to be able to do that. So serve day, July 16th at Ruffner Park, if you just like to throw in some volunteer work. Also, again, I want to thank Police Chief Wiggins for the digital speed display sign that you see that is down by the Irondale Community School. We have 2 of those signs. I think one is at the community school, the other one, Police Chief, is that on Ruffner?
We haven't put it out yet.
Okay, we haven't put the other one out, but is that Ruffner? If you'd like to have one of those signs in your community, just let us know with a $2,500 check, and we will put them out there to help you to reduce the speeding in your community. I also want to be able to encourage everybody to sign up for the concert that's going to be in Beacon Park, September the 25th, 4 p.m. We have an exciting lineup with Taylor Hicks, PMJ, which is Pastor Mike, who's the pastor at Revelation. His son is, matter of fact, his song is number 3 on Billboards. We're also going to have Kim Scott, who is number 1 on the smooth jazz charts, as well as Eric Essex. This concert is absolutely free. We're going to allow Irondale residents to sign up through the month of July. After that time, it's going to be open to the public, and we're going to use it as an event to be able to attract individuals to come to the city of Irondale to see how fantastic our city really is. Moving to July 3rd, if you haven't had a chance to be able to watch Message with the Mayor, I would encourage you to go and to be able to do that. It's only 15 minutes long, but we have a lot of exciting information that is in that particular Message with the Mayor. On Thursday, July the 7th, if you love to pray, we're having our monthly prayer meeting at Church of the Highlands at 9 a.m. Look forward to seeing a lot of people there in the house. And also on Tuesday, July the 19th, we're having Coffee with the Mayor at 10 a.m. Even if you don't want to come to be able to hear me, you should at least come to be able to get a Krispy Kreme donut. So we'll have the Keurig and we'll have the Krispy Kreme donut. So that's worth coming down here for 10 a.m., even if you don't want to be able to listen to the mayor. Also on July the 15th, we're having our Summer Screen Scene series with Space Jam: A New Legacy. And then on Friday, July 29th, we're having the movie for adults. I always hesitate when I say that because I don't want to say it the other way. But we're also looking for people to share with us what movie you would like to see. If you go to IrondaleCommunityFoundation.com, you'll be able to put that information in. Fun starts at 7 p.m. Movie starts at 8:15. Free popcorn, snow cones, lawn games. And also at the last one, we had free hot dogs. So I hope everybody would come and to participate in that movie, those movie nights. And this is not final, but I'm getting close to being through. So if you all just hang on in there with me. But on July the 30th, we're having I Love Irondale Day. We're going to have food trucks, free to the first 50 at each truck, DJ, line dancing, lawn games for kids, Irondale trivia, classic car and truck show, shopping with young entrepreneurs, community picnic project, registration for fall youth sports, meet your counselors, meet your principals, meet your department heads, and more. And also, I'm going to say if you want to participate in the master plan for the parks, we will be unveiling that, or McNally and Associates will be at this event to collect information from the citizens to be able to tell us what you would like for us to be able to do with our parks. So she'll have the surveys for that. And finally, I will give you an update on the parks so that you will have this information and you can share it with others. Ellert Park, the site inventory and analysis has been completed. There's a conceptual plan with options, character images, equipment are being finalized. We will present these at a meeting on July the 12th. So on July the 12th, we're actually having a staff meeting to go through the conceptual plan for Ellert Dog Park. And she will also be collecting information at the I Love Irondale Day for that as well. The master plan for the parks, the kickoff meeting with city representatives for the steering committee is anticipated to be on July the 12th at 2:30. This is not open to the public. It is only for the staff and the individuals that are going to be working on the master plan. However, we're going to draft program opportunities and public engagement. That's what we're going to talk about at the meeting on the 12th. We're going to roll it out on July the 30th. We ask you to come to the I Love Irondale Day so that you could be able to give input about how you want our city parks to look, as well as what type of programming will take place at the parks as well. So not only on I Love Irondale Day will we be celebrating the community, getting a chance to build community and to fellowship with your fellow citizens, but we're also using this event to be able to collect information for our master plans, for our total park system, but also we're going to concentrate on collecting information for Ellet Park as well. Thank you, Council President, for giving me this time to be able to share, and look forward to seeing everybody on all of these things that are going on. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. At this time, I would look for any reports from any of the department heads that we have with us tonight. Yes, sir.
Good evening. I just had two things I wanted to mention. One is a training event that we're going to be doing next month on August the 6th. It's going to be our police and fire department along with Cahaba Valley and Vestavia, but we're going to be doing some training scenarios around the Cahaba area. Just preparing for if we, not if, because we do have those, but a lost person in the woods or on the water. We're going to be working together to utilize some drone training, some water rescue training, as well as some ground search and rescue training. So that's just going on. So if you guys, if you guys want to come out and see what we do that day, you'll be more than welcome. We're going to try to also utilize our local CERT team in that as well. But if you want to come out and see what we do, or if you get calls of why is all this going down around the Cahaba, you'll know we're going to put out some stuff on social media, but just wanted to let you guys know about it. And if you want to come, feel free to. The second thing I just want to kind of put in your minds, let you think about, I was going to bring some numbers for the next council meeting. We did receive a grant through State Farm, through Vivian Mora, for weather preparedness. It's a $3,000 grant to buy supplies for citizens to be able to be better prepared for inclement weather. Tornadoes especially was what this program was really designed at. Just identifying the cost of weather radios, and we're trying to look up some bulk pricing for that as well. And looking at the most high-risk areas in the city, we're going to, of course, target the mobile home communities first, and then try to spread outside of that. But just knowing right off the bat how much a weather radio is, and the amount of mobile homes that we were trying to get these radios into, maybe looking to some help from some discretionary funding from you guys if y'all want to help in that. What I'm doing right now is I have David Brasher getting together the actual numbers of those homes in those areas, so we'll know exactly we at least need this many weather radios. But we're looking at creating a kit with a safety helmet, some gloves, flashlight, things that people would need in a storm. So just wanted to put that out there and in your ear. And if anyone's interested in discretionary fund with helping with that, I should have some better numbers as far as how much we would need by next meeting, but just wanted to put that out there.
Thank you, sir. Any other reports from any other department heads tonight? Okay. Now we'll be looking for any reports from council members. We'll start from District 2. I just want to thank the Housing and Abatement Board. There have been several properties that have been brought to my attention. They've made their way onto the Housing and Abatement docket, and I've just watching these properties just get addressed and just continue to beautify our community. So I appreciate that. I also appreciate the inspectors and all the work they do. Little issues that pop up. Hey, can this be checked on? Getting with the mayor, saying, hey, can the inspector look at this? The work is getting done, and I'm so happy to have the personnel in place in order to kind of accommodate these things. So just really want to thank our department heads and all the great work that's been doing by our non-council boards. Councilman Sims?
Thank you, everyone, for being here. Next Tuesday, July 12th, Holiday Gardens Neighborhood Association will have its monthly meeting at the Senior Activity Center at 6:30 p.m. And if I wasn't going to be out of town, I'd volunteer to be a lost hiker for the fire chief. But I could be Irondale's reigning hide-and-seek champion, but I'll be gone. That's all I have.
Fair enough. Councilman Box?
Thank you, Council President. I just want to thank everybody for coming, especially the ones out here now, with my constituents from Heritage Place. Hopefully we'll get some of your things addressed tonight. Also, would like to know if any of you guys have neighborhood associations, when you have meetings that we can announce here, to have police and fire or myself attend those type of things. So with that said, I'll relinquish.
Okay. Councilwoman McQuarrie?
Yes, I want to echo what the mayor said. Chief Wiggins and the Irondale Police Department, congratulations on your successful fundraising event. You picked a very good group, and I couldn't be prouder of our police department. Great job. The second thing I wanted to note is we held our first Economic Development Strategic Planning Committee meeting it was Thursday the 23rd, and we had some really good input from the committee members that could attend. Stay tuned, because this is really great suggestions going to be implemented. Some of these the implementation of these suggestions are going to come to fruition within the next couple of months. So I will be updating y'all on what the city is doing as a committee. This committee is comprised of every council member. It's comprised of Mayor Stewart. It's comprised of the chairman of the CDA, as well as another director of the CDA, and also the president of the Chamber of Commerce. So it's a great team, very excited about strategic planning and economic development in Irondale. And I had one question for the mayor. You mentioned that there's going to be the Ellard Park Conceptual Plan with options meeting that's going to be held on July 12th. Where and what time?
That is a staff meeting.
Oh, it's a staff.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a staff meeting. It's not a public meeting. I was just giving an update on that since I've been
Okay.
asked several times what's going on at Ellard Park. But we are meeting staff-wise with McNally to go through the information that they've gathered so far. Then it's going to be rolled out for citizens to participate at the I Love Irondale Day.
Great. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay.
Councilman London?
Thank you, sir. One thing, Mayor, you talked about, well, he's actually giving a park report. It's just one question about Ruffner. Any information on Ruffner you want to share? Okay.
Okay. Ruffner Park, I think you all had a meeting on May the 3rd or 4th to be able to meet with Mr. Kelly at that time. After that meeting had expired, Mr. Kelly reached out to me, sent me an email and said that because of his rearranging his office, he may have to withdraw from the project. So I began to have discussions with other people that move around in that arena, and I'll have something that I'll bring to you all at the next council meeting.
Okay, thank you. Also, just one thing. The World Games are here. Plan. They've already got some road closes. There's going to be a lot of traffic out here in Irondale and all over the place. So just want to know, I hope some of you are volunteering and participating. I am myself. My family's participated in that. But they are here, and we're excited that they chose Birmingham to be here. And I know Irondale is going to get a lot of that. So prepare. There was roads closed. I was driving downtown yesterday, and there was roads already closed. So prepare. Leave early, leave late, whatever you need to do. But check out the news station website. All the road closures on those websites. Thank you.
Can the police chief, I saw something posted by the police department about Grants Mill being closed, starting, I think, today, off and on. Do you have any
Chief, was it-
update on that?
The reroute due to the Grants Mill expansion.
I don't know. He's posted on the website. Frank had them and posted them out to us.
Okay. I didn't know if there were any specific times. I happened to go through it when I thought it was supposed to be closed, but
Councilman Sims, I can give you an update on that. Actually, Frank, myself, and Jefferson County is meeting Thursday to discuss the road closure. So there's, I would assume that flyer that went out saying that everything was going to be closed from 8 to 11 and from 1 to 4 was kind of premature.
gotcha.
Because I thought about it, I said, well, we don't meet to the 7th for them to get input from the city. Therefore, that's why it's probably still open, but we meet on the 7th to discuss it. As soon as we get through with that discussion and know exactly what the dates and times are going to be for that, we'll make sure we get it out to the public.
Thank you.
Okay. At this time, we will look for any reports of boards and non-council committees. Any reports or non-council committees that would like to report? Fair enough. We're going to go ahead and move into, we do not have any public hearings tonight. We're going to go ahead and move into the council deliberation on agenda items only. Under the consent agenda, item number 1, resolve the resolution 2022 R111 authorizes the termination of all agreements with Avenue Insights and Analytics LLC. Councilman Lennon, any questions on that item?
No question.
Councilwoman Cuellar, any questions on that item?
I know this was a one-year one, and the resolution that follows, that's what's gonna replace that?
Yes, we decided after deliberations to go in a different direction. So we're terminating the agreement that was approved with Avenue, and we are asking the council to approve the agreement with the State of Alabama Revenue Department.
Okay. Councilman Box?
No question.
Councilman Sims?
None.
All right, and myself, none. We would agree to keep this on the consent agenda?
Yes.
All right. Item number 2, to Councilwoman Cuellar's point, resolve resolution 2022 R112 authorizes an agreement with the Alabama Department of Revenue to administer and collect sales, use, rental, and lodging taxes levied by the city. Councilman London?
No question.
Councilwoman Cuellar?
No more.
Councilman Box? Councilman Sims?
No question.
And myself, none. Agree to keep that on the consent agenda?
Yes.
Okay. Item number 3, resolve the resolution 2022 R113 authorizes the mayor to contract with Phoenix Water Services LLC for Irondale for the performance of sewer billing. This has got Mr. Morris's name next to it. But before, I'm not sure if Jared is handy. Oh, there you are. How you doing, sir? Anything you would care to speak on this item?
Well, here approached me, about a month or so ago, and they're growing significantly. They have the heights and they don't have the public. And so he's not able to do billing anymore, so he approached us, to be able to do it for him, and he can pay us 4% gross on everything that's earned. He's paying for all startup costs with our billing software, so there's no cost to the city. We'll probably make around $1,200, $1,400 a month off doing this. So it's pretty good. It's nothing that we'll be doing that's gonna put anybody just working extremely hard. It'll be a pretty automated process. And we do a little bit of this for the Jefferson County, so it's kind of mimics that as well.
Councilman London, any questions?
No question.
Councilwoman Cuellar?
No questions?
Councilman Box?
He answered them all.
Outstanding. Councilman Sims? And myself, none. Thank you very much. Agree to keep that on consent?
Yes.
All right, outstanding. Moving into the regular agenda, unfinished business, ordained that ordinance 2022-12 rezones the property located at 4688 Overton Road, Irondale, Alabama, 35210 from C1 to C2. So commercial district to commercial district. Let's see here. This would need to be taken through the ordinance process. So if someone could be on the ready for that. Any additional questions that have come up since the previous discussion on that, Councilman London?
Well, I think Councilwoman Cuellar had a question for the mayor to find out. So I'm going to refer
Yeah,
to
I was
you.
gonna ask the mayor if he received updates.
I had a chance to be able to talk to Darren, our city engineer, after reviewing what the actual account would be. He determined that there would not be a traffic impact to Overton Road by allowing this property to be rezoned.
Very good. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. Councilman Box?
No question.
Councilman Sims?
None.
And myself, no questions either. All right, so that will stay on the regular agenda and it will follow the ordinance process. Under new business, item number 2, ordain that ordinance 2022-13 provides an interlocal agreement between the city of Birmingham and the city of Irondale. Chief Wiggins, that has your name by it. Once again, this would go through the ordinance process, so we'll take that as it comes. Please come on up. Councilman London, any questions for Chief Wiggins?
No, I'll let him explain what's going on.
Okay, please.
Basically, mutual aid agreement for us to assist the World Games. We're providing 7 officers at the venue. Our venue will be, the vehicles will be driven by our personnel to help with road closures and also patrol. They will provide mechanical and fuel for us over there. If we have minor mechanical issues, they have mechanics on site and fuel available. So this is an agreement for us basically to help assist the World Games.
Okay. Councilwoman Quayle?
Yes, I'm looking at this agreement and looking at item C with the implementation. We have item A that says the description is 7 police officers and 4 police vehicles. Then you go down to item B, and I'd like that amended to say Birmingham will assign the 7 Irondale police officers and 4 Irondale police vehicles. So that it's clear, as you just stated right here, that it would be our police officers driving our vehicles in helping out Birmingham with that. So I'm going to ask that that amendment be made and included in this agreement. And then looking at item E, under non-discrimination, Irondale would not discriminate against any employee or applicant for employment because of race, color, religion, sex, gender identity, sexual orientation, disability, familial status, or national origin. I'm looking at our state laws here. We actually passed a law, and I'm going to ask that we strike gender identity. We are not mandated to do that. That is Birmingham policy. That is not Irondale policy, and so I'm going to ask that you strike that, and then go 2 lines down and strike it once again. Make that amendment to the agreement.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've spoken with her about it, yes.
That is something that could be done if the city council passes it subject to that amendment.
Councilman Box?
My only question is, Chief, on any overtime, we're actually in straight time on it. I know you said fuel will be available. Are they gonna pay the officers, reimburse us for the officers to pay on this, or this is, just we're still gonna pay?
We're providing.
We're providing the work.
Yes.
Councilman Sims?
No questions.
Councilman London, I want to bring around to you based on the proposed adjustments. Any questions regarding the comment?
I'm gonna have to go back and look at it and see what she was talking about. Matter of fact, can I see it?
Yes.
But no question, no question.
The first comment that you made, Councilwoman Cuellar, what section did that pertain to?
B, under implementation,
C, yeah.
or excuse me, C.
Yeah, C.
C
C,
and
B.
And then subsection B.
Subsection B.
Subsection B.
Yeah.
And you're looking for it to say what?
He's got my
There you
copy.
go.
I think,
Right now, the way it says Birmingham will assign operators for the equipment.
Okay,
And I'm wanting us to be very clear, Birmingham will assign the 7 Irondale police officers for the 4 Irondale police vehicles. So that it's clear, as Chief stated, that our Irondale police officers will be operating our Irondale police vehicles. And we don't have other municipalities in our police vehicles.
and
I mean, you can have someone ride with you, but the main operator
I
is going
understand.
to be an
You don't want to
Irondale
make sure
police
that Birmingham's not assigning a Birmingham officer to ride an
Exactly.
Irondale vehicle. Copy,
Right.
okay. Now, in regards to the gender identity, I would object to your striking that. So Councilman London, since I'm making a revision based on her revision, that is my proposal, is I agree with what she's saying in regards to her first comment. But in regards to striking the gender identity, I do have a problem with that. Regardless of whether we're not mandated to do it, I from a non-exclusionary point, I choose not to I prefer not to remove that.
I'm in agreement with you.
Okay.
I made that because that is not Irondale policy. That is Birmingham policy. And what this means is that someone dressed up as a man or dressed up as a woman that is not that biological sex can come and apply for a job, and our Irondale Police Department would be mandated to hire. And I don't think that's appropriate for our community right now to have children seeing a man dressed up as a woman with a wig and makeup. I just don't think that's good. We're not mandated to do it. This is Irondale policy. Birmingham, that's their policy. That's great. But I don't think it's fair to force our Irondale Police Department to follow that policy.
Chief Wiggins, is there a problem with this as written? Do you have,
Will not discriminate. It doesn't
Okay.
mandate us to hire. You said we will not discriminate. So, I mean, again, I'll refer to the city attorney who wants best fits for Irondale,
right?
but in my thought was that it doesn't mandate us to hire, it says we won't discriminate.
Copy. Councilman Box, any follow-up comments?
Well, it's a gray area in there because we're not federally or state mandated to include gender identity as a protected status under, I think it's Title IX, is that correctly? Gender identity is not a protected status as yet under Title IX. Okay, so we're not mandated to do that. If we're selecting to do that, I'd love to hear from the citizens to see what our citizens have to say about that. Anything we're mandated to do, I agree with, but to actually start including just on our own policies, I'm not sure that that's something we want to do without hearing from the citizens.
So we're just talking about.
This is just an agreement to the end of this month.
I'm not quite through yet.
I'm sorry.
So what I was saying is, I don't know if the Birmingham
about
Police
this
Chief
weekend.
approached our chief or Birmingham Mayor approached the mayor about this agreement. But once again, if we're lending aid and lending service to them, it's a great thing to be involved in the World Games. It's a great thing to help our fellow cities. But for a fellow city to dictate to us how we're going to help them, I think sets a precedence that we don't need. So I think it's a small adjustment she's asking for. It's not an adjustment that is a mandated adjustment. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Councilman Sims?
Sorry for interrupting. Sure. I totally understand what you're saying, but I mean, I see it as, this is just a 1 month, we're negotiating one agreement to lend a hand. We're not changing our policies. We're just saying we're not going to discriminate, as the chief said.
Okay. Based on the fact that it's not mandated, it's a short-term agreement, it doesn't seem to have any adverse effects to the police force as it's currently constructed, I'll rescind my amendment. So, okay. We good? I will rescind my ask to reconsider that.
Council President,
Thank
can I,
Yes,
can I
sir.
speak to it? We are not getting ready to hire anybody over the next 10 days.
I understand.
So this really doesn't apply because we don't have anybody that's have interviewed or is getting ready to be hired by the city. I mean, this will all be over. I mean, you all are making an adjustment to something that doesn't even apply and really makes sense to what we're doing right now. They're just asking to be able to have officers to be able to work for the next 10 days. This will be over. We don't have anybody. Jason, police chief, hadn't interviewed anybody with gender identity. I hadn't signed off on somebody to be able to do that. So I initially I wasn't going to say anything, but I just thought that I needed to be able to speak to this, that this is something that doesn't even apply to what we're doing here at the city.
So you agree with me rescinding my comment, I'm assuming?
No, I agree that nothing should be changed because it doesn't apply to what we do here at the city anyway. We're not getting ready to hire anybody over the next 10 days.
Right.
So how can we discriminate against somebody if we're not getting ready to hire anybody?
And that's exactly why I'm
So
willing
that's
to
that's
exactly
my
why I'm willing to rescind it. I appreciate that. From a personnel standpoint, you have the best idea of the movement in that arena, so I definitely respect your opinion. Since we're talking about a short-term agreement and it doesn't impact anything for the strength of the body and the fact that this this agreement needs to be passed sooner than rather than later, then I will
May
move.
I make a comment?
I'll move forward with the body's suggestion. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. If it doesn't impact, why even include it? If it's just for 30 days, why even include it? That's the issue here. Why even include it if you don't plan? And it makes no sense to me to have something that isn't mandated included in short term. That's the point I'm making. So what is the problem with just striking it?
I'm agreeing with you.
Yes.
Okay.
And
Thank
my thing is, whatever y'all want to do
Right.
is fine. I just thought that I needed to speak to it to be able to put it in the proper context,
Right.
to let people know if anybody's out there, this is not something that we are even considering anyway.
I understand and I appreciate that. My only concern is the time sensitivity with this. And if we strike something and this agreement is not able to be put in place, then that would put us at a potential disadvantage.
Well, you have a municipality that is asking for your help.
Right.
Okay, and you should be able to help based on what
Your
your
terms.
policies are in
Understand.
place, and they should accept that.
Okay.
So that's all I'm saying
Yeah.
is respect the policies that we have in place. We're happy to help you, but let's just take that out. There's no need to have it in there.
But I think the only thing this is the only thing that I'm trying to say, and I think you said it, Council President, this is time sensitive. So if we got to go through this and strike this, Birmingham Legal Department ain't small like our legal department. So by the time this may be reviewed by them, games will be over. We won't even have to worry about sending our officers down there. Because the game start
Today. Yeah, Thursday.
They start Thursday.
Yeah.
The athletes
So
are
I
coming
mean,
in now.
I'm just asking you all to take that in consideration. But if you all are that principle led that you want to be able to do it that way, that's fine. We'll just strike it, send it down to their legal department, and if our people don't get a chance to participate, they just don't get a chance to participate.
Is that something you're willing to accept?
I'm asking the municipality to respect our policy is what I'm saying. And please, if you're asking for help, respect our policies. Don't try to force this when it's not necessary. It's not necessary to include that in a 30-day policy. That's to me, that's just unreasonable.
What say you, Councilman Lennon?
Well, I kind of agree with the mayor. If you make these changes and they have to review it and they don't get back in time, then where are we as a body? I think we fail our police officer, our police department for having this opportunity to go down and do something that a lot of them wants to do anyway. I think it's gonna be a big thing for them to go down and volunteer with Birmingham. And this policy doesn't really affect us. It really doesn't affect Hirondale. It really doesn't. But we should not discriminate.
But we are expending our resources to help them, okay? It's our dollars that are paying for our police officers, and we are expending our dollars, therefore respect our policy as well.
Councilman Box?
I want to hear from the citizen this evening that might
Okay.
want to speak on this. Secondly, working in HR, okay? You open doors by application of things. I know that we're saying this week, but I think it actually said in there somewhere it could go up to 90 days. The agreement could, the interlocking agreement could go further than just the time period we're talking. So the longer it goes, the more possibility there is to set a precedence for something, or the more possibility you would have for someone to actually come apply during that time. So once again, I'm all for inclusivity. I'm all for everything else there, but our policy, we're not federally mandated nor state mandated to do it. If we want to include that on our policy, let's have an ordinance meeting and include it on our hiring procedures, and let's go about it that way. But once again, Birmingham's asking us for help. We're glad to help Birmingham, but I don't think Birmingham should be able to dictate to us how we go. So, but I'm waiting to hear from the citizens.
Councilman Sims, one moment. Mayor?
Council President, I want to just ask if the resolution is removed.
You would prefer to
Yeah,
remove
just
the
just
resolution?
remove it from the agenda. We won't do anything. Nobody won't go. Won't have to change anything. I'm requesting that this resolution is removed from the agenda.
Okay.
And I'm saying, let's do it with the revisions, and if they don't, then you go on and remove it.
Well,
think
it's
that's
too late to remove it. It's only 10 days.
Yeah.
It starts Thursday. So my thing is, we don't have another city council meeting until July the 19th. Games will be over.
Yeah.
So if this is an issue that is really pressing to the council and they can't get their minds around it to be able to go with what's there, like I said, we'll just remove it. There's no big deal.
Okay.
We'll just remove it from the
I
agenda.
want to address, well,
Move on to
actually,
the next
Councilman
item.
Sims, I want to come to you real quick on, we've had a lot of conversation. I'm coming back around to you on this. Do you have anything
I
additional?
just don't think that, we're not changing our policy. We're just saying, hey, while we're working with you and lending our officers, we're not going to discriminate against anybody, which I don't think we go out every day discriminating against anybody anyway. So I don't think anything's changing in the city of Irondale by agreeing to them asking us just to do this little.
From a time sensitivity, I said it, I want to echo, Mayor there. So we have a choice. We can either amend this agreement and, if the body chooses to go that way, and we might possibly just not get anything from it, or we put it through as is, or we remove it completely. Councilman London?
I say let's put it through the vote. Let's put it through the process. See what
Fair enough.
happens. Yeah.
I can live with
And
that.
let me ask this just from the legal standpoint. If we go on and vote for this with the amendments, can we also add language that if they agree to abide by that, then it's an agreement? If they agree not to abide by it, then we don't follow through. Can we do that? We can, so we don't have to withdraw it, but we can go on and pass it with these amendments. And if they agree to it, that's great. We have an agreement. If they don't agree to it, then we withdraw. There's
think-
no need to withdraw now.
I think what the mayor's concerned about is the review will probably happen after the World Games are over with. That's the concern.
The review is not going to happen like tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. I would prefer to, like I said, it's not a big deal, and never thought that it would even cause this much debate about it. And to keep peace with the body, let's just remove it and move on.
We will put it through the process. When this comes up for deliberation, this will not be a political conversation about overtones in our political world. This is about a 10-day contract. This is what we're discussing ultimately, up to 90. This is not, we are not talking about the future of humanity specifically. This is not going to be a political conversation when the 2-minute timer is given, if anybody chooses to discuss this matter. We will put it through the process.
Yes.
All right. Let's see here. Item number 3, under new business, resolve the resolution 2022 R114 authorizes the purchase of sports equipment by the Arundel Parks and Recs Department for the city's fall football league in the amount not to exceed $5,000. Council Lonan, any questions there?
No, sir.
Councilwoman Quayer?
No questions.
Councilman Box?
That's great, Mayor. Thank you.
Absolutely. Councilman Sims?
What sort of equipment is it?
I knew somebody was going to ask that question.
Football pads,
They wanted it to the addendum.
Blocking W's.
blocking dummies, football pads, shoulder pads, helmets. Yeah, jerseys.
We will have Wilson TD Como football 9 through 12, youth mouth guard sports, Nike Vapor 24/7 football silver, something for Raza, speed hurdles for agility training, gorilla football step over dummy with heavy duty handles for footwork skills and sports training, speed and agility combo set. And the reason that you have this mentioned like 3 or 4 times because we have 4 age groups, so each age group will have their own thing. But that's mostly blocking dummies, agility equipment, mouth guards, footballs, speed hurdles.
Well, this will be stored at I think they're practicing at the middle school.
It'll be stored at the middle school, but it is property of the city of Irondale.
Thank you. No question.
No questions for myself either. This is a resolution, but will need to be taken through the ordinance process. Item number 4, resolve that resolution 2022 R115 authorizes the city's negotiations with SHA Outdoors LLC for the possible acquisition of the property located at 1521 Heritage Place Drive, Irondale, Alabama. Councilman Box, this has your name on it?
Thank you.
Please.
This has been going on for, well, probably over almost 2 years now, that the constituents out in Heritage Place almost unanimously have desired for us to get possession of that property, to have the property something that the city would use to the neighborhood's benefit, rather than becoming a business that may or may not fit the description or the venue of the neighborhood. So the mayor has been working behind the scenes trying to get it done, but this will allow him to actually move forward and give him the power to, you know, try to get us a good deal on this. I realize there's no guarantee, but it'll give the mayor something to really work with.
Okay. Councilman London, any questions?
Yeah, one question. Can we put a up to price on this?
The finger's being pointed at you, sir.
Oh, no, well, all right.
That will be something that will come back to the city council at a later.
At a later date? Okay, all right. Because, yeah, I'm for it, but not really, because of what we've just acquired with Zamora and the other property that we talked about. That's on that side of town. So I just want to see what we're going to spend for it. We'll talk about it later.
So good with the
I'm
resolution,
good with the resolution, but I don't want to spend too much for it.
knowing that it's going to have to come back at a later time.
Yeah.
Okay. Councilwoman Cuellar?
Only comments I have is, before I was on the council, for several years, this community has been dealing with this particular property, and so doing what we can as a city to help alleviate that problem. And again, the dollar amount will be instrumental. I have no problems with this resolution.
Copy. Councilman Box, any closing statements? All right. Councilman Sims?
How many total acres is this?
10 acres.
10 acres. No questions.
Okay, thank you. So that finishes the deliberation portion of this night's agenda. Here in a moment, we'll look at approving the agenda and moving forward. I do want to go ahead and add a second piece of housekeeping. Once we move forward and we get through our agenda this evening, there will be, after we finish with any public comments to the council on non-council agenda items, we will move into executive session. So we will be leaving this room at the end of this meeting. We will conduct our executive session, and then we will end that executive session and end our council meeting in another room. So once we move into executive session, you guys are good to go. All right. All right. So that is all of that. All right. That being said, and with deliberations ended, I would be looking for an approval of the form of the agenda.
Make a motion that we approve the form of the agenda.
We have a motion.
Seconds.
We have a second by Councilman Sims. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. At this time, I would accept any public comments on agenda items only. These are the items that we've just discussed. Yes, ma'am. And then please remember, if you could speak from the podium since it's got a mic, and we'll be looking for your, oh, you have the slip filled out. Thank you so much. If you could still state it for the record, though. Thank you so much. And I'm issuing 2 minutes on these items.
Hi, I'm Dawn Dalrymple. I live in Heritage Place subdivision. We're a community of approximately 80 single-family homes. You may recognize us because we show up every couple of years to battle the owner of the 1521 Heritage Place property or potential developers of this property regarding the zoning. Currently, it's commercial zoning. They've tried to zone it industrial. And the potential development and the current zoning doesn't fit the character of the neighborhood. I would hate for the city to miss the opportunity to potentially make this a park. It's a great location, so close to the interstate. It would be a great destination park, maybe a fitness, it could have fitness stations or walking trails there. And we have a very tight-knit community. About half the homes there are very vested in helping and would stand behind doing what's necessary to make this dream a reality. So please consider doing what's necessary to fix this problem and seize this opportunity for the city. Because it's not just fixing our problem, it would be a great destination park for the city.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
I saw a second hand. I think you were first, ma'am. Dawn. You got her information. You're good. Okay. Good evening.
My name is Sandy Colvin. I live directly across from the property in question at 1530 Heritage Place Drive. And I just wanted to also ask you to consider it. Not only could it be a park for our neighborhood, it could be a park for the entire city and others. And I know you mentioned you're not really for it, Councilman London, as far as we have other things coming down the pipe. And while that is amazing and wonderful, and I think a big thing that we can thank the mayor for on turning so much of our city to green spaces, Zamora specifically, you mentioned, we don't know what's going to happen with that property. We don't know whether there's going to be a park there. We don't know if there's going to be fitness activities there. So I would hate to see you turn down this opportunity just because there potentially might be something later on. This could be really unique. I've come to you before and asked you to make a fitness trail out of it. That's not something that you can find on the Cahaba. It's not something at Moon River. It's not something at Ruffner. It's not something at Elder. It's not, it could be really unique. It could be something like a disc golf trail. Okay. If you're going to put that at Zamora, then maybe we don't need it, but I feel like it being in a really unique area. Someone told me today, I'm sure you guys are aware of this, but like Grand River is expanding so much, so you're going to have people on our end of town. And for so long, I mean, yay for Zamora, I love it. But for so long, our end of town was completely ignored. There's no parks, there's no anything out there. And that's why 2 years ago, we started asking you to consider this property. There was one time, and I don't think it legally would work out, but there was one time that our entire neighborhood was willing to pay as much as we could towards it. So it is very important to us. And please don't deny it just because there might potentially be something out there that would be like it. Because if that's the case, then, you know, why are we expanding any of our green spaces? Because we already have green spaces.
Thank you, Ms. Colvin. We
thank
appreciate
you.
your comments. I believe you were up next, sir. Thank you. And name and address, if you would, please.
Kenneth Mott. I live in Heritage Heritage Village area. I think another question here is the word of Irondale and the plan that they put out valid? In 2016, in the Blueprint Irondale, this was listed as a prospective green place. In 2021, in Blueprint Irondale, this is also identified again as a prospective green place. Is that really a plan, or is that only something on paper? I think it is a plan, and I commend this group for finally taking action on this. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. One moment, sir. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Good evening. I'm gonna make this real short. My name is Jason Mitchell. I live at 1536 Heritage Place Drive, and I think this will be a great asset for the city of Irondale to turn this into a park. I think the market has already dictated that this would be the highest and best use for this land. This property has been on the market for, I know, at least 15 years as a commercial. It's not going to happen. So we just ask you guys to seriously consider this for us.
Thank you, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Hey, my name is Gretchen Thiel, and when you think about this agreement, please take into consideration these are policemen that are going to be doing overtime, and it's going to take time from their families, and they need to know whether or not they're going to be working. So,
Understood.
if it's up in the air until the day before, they may not, they may not have time.
I understand. Thank you.
2205 Second Avenue North.
Do we have any other comments on agenda items only? Okay. At this time, we finished the comments on agenda items only. I would look for the approval of the consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda with items 1, 2, and 3 as listed.
Second.
All right, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. That covers items 1, 2, and 3 on the consent agenda. Going to the regular agenda, if someone could take us through the process on item number 1.
Make a motion that ordinance number 2022-12 be considered read.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Make a motion to suspend all rules that will prevent the immediate consideration of ordinance number 2022-12.
Second.
Second, roll call, Councilman London?
Yes.
Councilwoman Cuellar?
Yes.
Councilman Box?
Yes.
Councilman Sims?
Yes.
And myself, yes. And finally,
Make a motion, that ordinance number 2022-12 be adopted and approved.
we have a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No opposed. Ordinance passes. Item number 2, if someone could take us through that process.
I make a motion that ordinance 2022-13 be considered read with amendments to it, with item B to change the language there to say Birmingham will assign the 7 Irondale police officers for the 4 Irondale police vehicles. And a second amendment to be item E under non-discrimination to strike the words gender identity where it is shown in both areas.
We have a motion to have this ordinance considered read with revisions. Do we have a second to consider it read with revisions?
Second.
We have a motion to consider it read with revisions. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
I'm opposed as well. Councilman Sims, what say you? You're no as well? Okay. All right. So we have a dead motion on the floor for this. Does anybody care to reintroduce it?
A motion that we ordinance 2022-13 provides an interlocal agreement between the city of Birmingham be considered read.
Second.
We have a motion, and I believe Sims beat the second. So all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Have a motion that we suspend all rules to prevent this immediate consideration of this ordinance 2022-13.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call. Councilman London?
Yes.
Councilwoman Cuellar?
No.
Councilman Box?
So we are now voting on this being unmodified, correct?
As presented originally.
Obviously, the body did not want it, and I did not hear enough citizens, so I'll vote yes as well.
You both voted yes?
Yeah.
And then Councilman Sims?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. Now, it did not survive that process, so we cannot move forward with this item. Is that correct? As it stands?
So your vote was on the suspension of.
The suspension of the rules, that is accurate.
If that did not have a unanimous consent, then it cannot go forward. You can have the first reading of it, and then it will come up on second reading at the next council meeting.
Which is irrelevant at this point. Okay. So at this point, this ordinance dies tonight, so we will move on. All right. So that did not pass. Item number 3, if someone could take us through that ordinance process on the resolution.
Okay, make a motion that resolution 2022 R115 be considered read.
14.
I think we're 14.
14.
14.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Make a motion to suspend all rules and prevent the immediate consideration of ordinance number 2022 R114.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call. Councilman London?
Yes.
Councilwoman Cuellar?
Yes.
Councilman Box?
Yes.
Councilman Sims?
Yes.
And myself, yes. And finally,
And finally, I make a motion that ordinance number 2022, or excuse me, resolution number 2022 R114 be approved and adopted.
Second.
all right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right. And finally, item number 4.
Jumping the gun on that one, I make a motion that resolution 2022 R115 be considered read.
Second.
I make a motion to
Now, what-
suspend.
Sorry, one second. We don't have to take that through the
No,
ordinance
it's just a
process, do we?
resolution, right?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so. Sorry. Yep. So just,
I
if you
make
could
a
just put,
motion that resolution
Thank you.
2022 R-115 be approved.
we have a motion. Do we have a second? Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. All right. So we've finished our deliberations. We've moved through our items. At this time, we'd be taking any public comments to the council on non-agenda items. Once again, 2-minute timer on that. Yes, sir.
Larry West, my brother Bobby West is out here. He owns some property here in Irondale, and in your September meeting, you declared the property a nuisance and requested and ordered it abated. That happened 2 or 3 weeks ago. And so, I guess my question, and I asked one of your guys that was in the white T-shirt at the door, I forgot his name. He seemed to know what was going on there. I said, so what's the next step? There's no lien showing up in the Jefferson County database. And he said, there will be a lien on the property. It'll be $30,000, which kind of seems out of range. I think normally those are $4,000 to $5,000, but whatever. So he was never notified that the house is going to be torn down. So how do I get notified how much the lien is and when he has to pay that?
Mayor, could you address that for the gentleman? Legal.
That would have been Brad Dawes, and there was actual notice sent out.
Those go certified, correct?
That, I'll let Brad speak what he did, but there was appropriate action notice under the law that
Okay.
was. and that's
Mr.
what
Dawes.
was sent out.
This gentleman has a question about a property that was recently abated.
Yes, sir. It went before the abatement board, it was approved through the abatement board. Then, a notice was sent out in the paper at AL.com. And it was also stapled to the front of the house. And it was also sent certified mail. I do have a receipt saying that it was delivered by certified mail. And your brother admitted to us that he did send a notice on the front of the house. So he lives with my mom. She didn't know that he got a letter. He didn't either, as best I know. But that's not really relevant at this point. I just don't want there to be a date we have to get the lien paid off, but we're not notified when that date is. Well, from what I understand of the state law, we do not have to notify by certified mail or any other kind of communication that there will be a lien in place. It's going to go before the city council for the assessment of the lien next council meeting. And so let's assume that the council agrees with the $30,000. How do we know to pay it so that we don't lose the property before the lien gets paid? That would be up to the Jefferson County to notify you of the lien.
So he could go down.
The lien is filed with Jefferson County probate. Then it's up to the tax assessor to notify you if there's a lien on the property. So typically, how long does that take to get to the owner of the property to find out how much it is? Once the council approves the assessment, then we file the lien the next day. And then how long do you get before you have to pay the lien? I guess you wait till you decide to sell the property.
Brad, you can certainly pay that as soon as it's assessed.
And so the state can't take, or in this case, the county or city, whoever, they can't take ownership of that property
That would be something you would need to actually talk to a lawyer about if you, because we can't.
Let's assume
advise
that,
you
let's
of the
assume that we're
legal
just gonna
rights.
pay that. Well, I'm gonna pay the lien, okay?
And you would just pay the city after it's assessed.
And how long do you get to do that, I guess is my question.
Well, it's just going to be a lien against your property. And
It's just
so
gonna-
You would pay it as soon.
Yeah,
as
so maybe and then Grant, I'm sorry, I don't know a ton about real estate, but you can't confiscate the property if I don't
No,
pay
this
the lien?
isn't back taxes or anything.
No, it's not backed. So the taxes have all been paid? That's accurate, yeah.
I mean,
Assuming
I can't
that,
say that because
Yeah.
I'm not sitting
Yeah,
here to
well,
know whether you have paid taxes or not. But I would recommend,
let's assume the
that
taxes have been paid, and they have.
this would be a lien against your property. Okay, it would, whatever amount that the city council assesses.
Mhm.
Okay, you're welcome to be here because it'll be in a public session.
Roger that,
And so
thank you.
then from that point forward, it will be a lien filed against your property, and it would be collected as provided by law. So I would recommend that you talk to a lawyer about that if you don't want to pay it off immediately.
As far as the time he has, the tax assessor's office would be able to inform him on that?
No, it's just a lien against, it would be up to the city to actually collect.
Okay, understood.
their lien.
Got it. Okay. Any other comments to the council regarding non-agenda items at this time? Yes, sir. I believe you were up.
Hey everybody, Jared Jeffries, 1901 4th Avenue South. So I don't think we should ban or limit short-term rentals as we have kind of with our current ordinance. Short-term rental platforms could be a vehicle to help push forward our economic development, which is, I remind you, one of our pillars of Irondale's comprehensive blueprint. It fosters economic development by boosting sales and revenue, bringing in tourists that will naturally directly invest in our community. Our small businesses, our favorite local restaurants opening up our beautiful city so our guests will go back to their respective homes bragging about our hospitality. It also serves as a natural springboard to recruit new businesses and homeowners. Also, one of the unique things about short-term rentals is their influence to recommend local events, shops, and restaurants. Anybody who's ever been to Airbnb, VRBO, or whatever can attest to that, how they have stuff on the board, visit this restaurant or whatever when you visit. So it's been extremely safe with only a couple of notable shootings out of thousands of recorded rentals. As we can see from the most recent senseless shooting this past weekend at the parade in Chicago, that unfortunately wickedness, senselessness, and gun violence is not completely avoidable. But if we want to eliminate gun violence completely, then I suggest we refocus our efforts against gun control. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other comments to the council on non-agenda items? Yes, sir.
My name's Gabe Clements. I live at 2341 Highland Avenue. And I have a question first. I was wondering the legality of fireworks being set off in the city of Irondale. I believe they're legal, but it does say on the website that they're illegal without a permit. So I was just wondering about that.
Before we answer your question, do you mind continuing while we still have a little bit of time? on the
Yeah,
clock?
I just wanted to make a statement about the impact that fireworks are having on my pets specifically. I'm not against fireworks. I don't think we should be banning fireworks, especially on days like 4th of July or New Year's Day. But I've been hearing them for weeks, and I'm not talking about bottle rockets. I'm talking about loud booms. And these loud booms send my dogs into sort of a panic state for several hours. And so these past few weeks, they've kind of been in a constant state of stress and agitation. And it's, it's been difficult to deal with. I know there are bigger issues, in the world, but this is one it's been on our mind the last few weeks. So we would be in favor. My girlfriend Sabina Barton and I, we live together. We would be in favor of some reasonable limitations on when fireworks can be set off in the city. Only on certain holidays or before certain times.
Okay. So one thing I would say is, and we can have Chief Wiggins come up and just state the rule for the record. I would say that Cindy Cuellar, Councilwoman Cuellar, heads up our ordinance committee. I can sympathize with you greatly, as I have 3 as well, and they've been going nuts for a week and a half. Forget trying to take them out to do their deal. That doesn't go over very well, which
Right.
means there's usually something.
Exactly
Yeah.
right.
Exactly. So, Councilwoman Cuellar, if you would like to petition her to take a look at that, she is head of our ordinance committee.
Okay.
And I would be willing to entertain that if Chief Wiggins felt that there were any, any deficiencies. So, are you finished with your comments?
Yes.
Okay. Chief Wiggins, would you mind just stating the ordinance and okay, cool.
Noise ordinance that is disruptive to families where that is specific to fireworks. A lot of them are business oriented noises or foul. So maybe something the council would like to address.
Copy. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
May
Thanks for
I
listening.
comment to him?
Yes, please, Councilwoman Cuellar.
Mr. Clements, I will visit
Yes.
with our city attorney, as committee chairman of the ordinance committee, and see what we could do to try to alleviate some of that. Thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other comments on non-agenda items? Yes, sir.
My name is Steve Putnam, and I just wonder if there are ordinances about farm animals in the neighborhoods in Irondale. There's an adjoining property that that has pigs, and so out of our neighborhood, and also I was wondering about dogs. Is there a limit on the number of dogs that someone's allowed? Not having a kennel license or something. So,
Does that conclude your question?
yes, well, the smell in the backyard occasionally, in the summer especially, has
Okay.
been, sometimes we can't be out there.
Sure. So in regards to the farm animals, specifically the pigs, it would depend on, I'm not familiar with the zoning of how it is out there. That would be a zoning question first. And then if it appeared that, what's being kept inside the house is outside of zoning, then that would be a phone call to inspections to maybe bring their, yes, sir, Chief Wiggins?
If they would give me after the meeting.
Okay.
Get our enforcement officer to get with him to follow up.
Okay, on both of those items?
Okay.
Okay, there you go.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Any comments on non-agenda items going forward? Since we seem to have no question, yes, ma'am.
Okay. My name is Mia Jeffries, 1901 4th Avenue South. I'm just going to make this short. This is in regards to ordinance number 2022-02. For everybody out there, that's the short-term rental ordinance. And my main I have a lot of issues with the ordinance, but I guess a couple high points is I feel like it infringes upon my property rights to rent out my property short term. Most notably, say if I was out of town like I was this weekend, why do I have to be at my house if I want to rent it out while I'm not there? And it seems like that should be, I mean, property rights are pretty well known. This is not anything new, but I also, this is not just me personally, but I feel like a protection of property rights for everybody, because everybody wants to be able to have property rights and have their property rights protected. And public safety laws can be a type of insidious thing where you think they're beneficial for public safety reasons, but they end up having harmful effects, as in harmful effects on your rights, your private property rights. Or with the masks, you know, you can't force everybody to wear masks because that's infringing on their personal property rights. Although it might be safe for everybody to wear masks, you have your own personal rights to decide if you should want to wear a mask or not. So it's a very fine line, and I just want to really have these ordinances re-looked at. There's definitely some more specific things in the ordinances as far as in the scope, findings, and purpose. One of the main concerns is for increased traffic, noise, the potential for increased traffic and noise, which we already have ordinances for, so it's kind of like a double law. We already have noise ordinances, we already have traffic ordinances.
I'm going to stop you right there as your 2 minutes are up.
Okay.
Councilwoman Cuellar chairs that. If you want to share some specific notes, and if that warrants a look back, then we will consider it as a body.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Any other comments around non-agenda items? Yes, sir.
Not really have anything for the record, but I just want to say thank you, Mayor Stewart. The cornhole tournament was awesome. Even though me and my fiance came in dead last.
No.
Outstanding.
No. I think I came in dead last. Yeah, I'm first from the bottom, so I won. Yeah, that's right. So yeah, don't take my crown. Don't you take my crown.
All right. In regards to executive session, to discuss the consideration of the city council is willing to offer when considering the purchase, sale, exchange, lease, or market value of real property by the city, I would accept a motion to enter executive. Oh, yes, ma'am. I thought we were good. Okay.
We have spent several miserable nights while we thought we were in the worst, because just like it was not a few firecrackers, it was absolutely shaking our house. And my husband moved my van into our other driveway because the sparks and everything. And this was at 10:30 last night. And we had done all we could do to console our dogs. And I think that that needs to be looked at. And I think that it needs to be revised, because our neighborhood, we have a lot of elderly people, and they were like, what is going on? And I think that there's, people need to have some kind of limit, before dark or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, I just wanted to reiterate, and also the people that were here to speak up for their neighborhood about the park and Heritage. Thank you, because we all want to attract families and good people and have housing developments. So let's have another park.
Thank you. All right. So recapping the description of the executive session, I would take a motion to enter executive session.
Motion to enter executive session.
Motion from Councilwoman Cuellar, second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're going to go ahead and move into another room to finish up this business. Thank you all very